Well, we've got three exciting segments featuring three fascinating guests on today's show. Hi, I'm Mitch Skaggs, and welcome to Off the Exit. We're going to start our show today with one of the most inspirational people I've ever met in my entire life, and that says a lot. His name's Leroy Blevins, and he's an old Harley mechanic. Now, what makes Leroy's story so special is that he's totally blind. And I promise you, after you see this segment, and there's no pun intended here, but you're going to see life from a whole new perspective. After that, we're going to visit with Jimmy Trantner, one of skydiving's best. He's going to take us on a little adventure 13,500 feet up in the air, and that should be exciting. If that's not enough, we're going to visit with an old buddy of mine, Dennis Nettleman. He's going to teach us a little bit about whitewater rafting rescue, all on today's show, so you certainly don't want to miss it. I caught up with Leroy outside of his house, and after I gave him a hard time about owning a French poodle, we sat down so he could tell us his story.
Well, I started riding motorcycles back in '57. And I was up in New Jersey working, bought my first motorcycle, old 47 Harley, and rode that thing around up there, and rode it all the way back across Pennsylvania and back into Tennessee. We had a big old motorcycle gang party and about 6 or 8 clubs there, and I guess I sort of let my mouth overload my butt, and I got shot 3 times and got my eyes poked out, and beat over the head unmercifully, and so I lost my sight in both eyes. And I took it and went on and just married my high school sweetheart after 20-something year, run up on her in '85, and we got married, and I hadn't seen her since '57. After that, I just went on and started working on my motorcycles again. This year, current project here is old 1947 Harley Davidson. They call them knuckleheads. And if you're looking at the other side of the engine, instead of this side, they look like a big old fist shut up at you. That's how they got their name, knucklehead. And it's a 47 on a rigid frame here, Springer front end and stuff, and all the spark advance and stuff's on the handlebars up here. You have to, if I can find them, I done got lost right here sitting beside of it. You twist that thing to retard your spark, and if you don't retard that thing when you first kick on it, it's liable to kick you over the handlebar when you're trying to kick start this thing. But it's I say I got this thing and started working on it about 96, 97, I believe it's 96. Had to have the frame reworked and everything, engine rebuilt, transmission, got it all painted, and now I got front end on it, and I got my fender in the paint shop. Sounds like it takes a long time to put one of these things together. And I've seen people work on them for a long time, but I've got a whole lot more projects I work on. I work on one a little while. If I start to get aggravated fit, I go work on another project. This here, I like it pretty good, I guess, because I built 2 or 3, well, probably not. I built probably close to a dozen knuckleheads from 39 all the way up to 47. A year or 2 ago, I was working on a 47 flathead for a friend of mine, and things got real scary. I had that thing running stuff, and turned it off, started it up again. When I kicked it, it didn't start, and I smelled smoke. It was sitting about the same place this one is, only turned around. And I reached for the wire going to the battery, and it was hot and cooking. It burnt my hand. I finally found me a pair of pliers and cut the wire in 2. And that's what a man has to watch, because if you can't see the smoke, if a man can see the smoke first, you got to smell it. So you got to be on your toes. It's liable to backfire through the carburetor and catch on fire or anything. So I just had to be pretty careful with it. But like I say, this one here is getting close to finishing. I got to get the fender and stuff on it. I might put a set of leather saddlebags on it. I hadn't decided yet. Other than that, just the front fender and let it roll, I guess. See how it does, because I've had it running and everything, rode it around out in the yard. Well, I don't think I rode it. A buddy of mine rode it around the house. I think I rode it from the door back to the end of the garage here one day, but it's a pretty good project. I have a whole lot of fun and enjoy putting these things together. Just gives me something to do. And I laughed. The old lady said, "When you gonna ever quit that?" I said, "I probably want to die now." She said, "Well, you promised me you was gonna quit when you got 60." And I said, "Well, maybe 65. Of course, that's coming up this year, but I don't think I'm gonna quit. I think I'm gonna continue fooling with it. Give me something to do, pass the time away. And because if I quit working out here in the garage, she'd probably kill me, beat me to death with a broom, trying to get me to do work in the house. And I wash them dishes every now and then, but not too often." How about that, Mitch?
Man, I told you Leroy's story was inspirational, and we didn't even get to meet his wife, Barbara. That lady is incredible. Anyway, when OTE returns, we're going to DeLand, Florida to go up to 13,500 feet and jump from a perfectly good airplane. You certainly don't want to miss that. If you get within 5 miles of Skydive DeLand and you think you're lost, just get outside and look up in the sky for directions. You'll see parachutes all over the place. As a matter of fact, this is one of the busiest drop zones in the world, and we're here to check in on one of the best jumpers in the business. But first, I've got to check in with a friend of mine. She actually runs the show here at Skydive DeLand, and she keeps everybody in line. Meet Doris Grove. She's a real sweetheart.
We are open 8 a.m. till sunset, 365 days a year. We offer team rooms, special team rates for their jumping. We have camera people, we have load organizers, we have coaching from Magic of DeLand, they're world champions, and we get people from all over the world. Jimmy is one of the Freedom of Flight coaches. I believe he's involved with Flight 1 as well, under the canopies. He's a communicative man. He gets across his point. He doesn't give up on his students, and he makes it a lot of fun. He gives a lot of positive reinforcement to get that person excited, even though they may need to change some things. He really gets them excited about their jumping.
I started jumping when I was 14, and I begged every year between the time I was born until I was 14. So pretty much was just something I always wanted to do. And as soon as my dad let me, and I was actually physically big enough to reach the toggles and control the parachute, then I just went right into it and never looked back. Well, Skydive DeLand is definitely one of the biggest drop zones in the world. It's one of the busiest as well. It's a real pleasure being here and working here. We got the best aircraft, the best facilities, some of the best people in the world, some of the best skydivers in the world as well. And it's just, you know, it's been really educational. It's been a good learning experience for myself, and also it's been good from a business standpoint because it is a high traffic area, and it makes it easier to get business when there's a high flow of people coming through, you know. Well, it's kind of hard to explain my usual day because it does vary from day to day. Some days I'll get up and I'll be here at 7 in the morning and make, 15, 20 jumps. And some days I'll come out and sit around and make 3 or 4 jumps. So it's kind of hard to say. I guess an average day would be about 6 to 10 jumps. And I just run around kind of talking with my student, or it really depends on what I'm doing that day. I actually offer 3 types of 3 disciplines that I mostly focus on. One being the free fly coaching, which is just the advanced instruction, and if I'm doing that, I tend to be with that person for most of the day, and really we work through and try to take whatever skill level they are at right now, and push that just a little bit further to the next level. Sometimes I do tandem video, so those kind of days are a little bit different because it's more focused on the camera side. So I tend to just be the cameraman, kind of a secondary observer, just documenting what's happening, whereas the coaching is more hands-on and I'm more the instructor and kind of laying out the pattern for the day. One of the best things that I like to do, one of my favorite things, is working with the students and really helping someone learn. There's nothing quite like just getting there and trying to show someone something brand new for the first time, and then by the end of the day they're doing it with ease, and just, everything that you've taught them, they're picking it up and doing new stuff. The other thing I do is test jumping. I do customer service and experimental test jumping for performance designs. Like usually when we're testing something brand new coming out, we'll do 15, 20 jumps a day just to be sure that it's perfect and But a day like that, it's more focused just on the canopy flight and focus, getting out at 5,000 feet and just really focusing on how the canopy opens and how it flies, how it performs, that sort of thing.
Well, as you can tell, skydiving's a pretty exciting sport. And back in 1994, I went through my advanced freefall program right there in Skydive to Land. The sport hadn't changed a lot, but it's just gotten a lot better and a lot more exciting. Anyway, when we return, we're going up in the air with Jimmy and one of his students when they jump out at 13,500. That ought to be a blast.
Well, packing the chute is not as critical as it used to be. I mean, a lot of people, especially newcomers, want to be really specific about packing the parachute and everything. But a lot of the things that I've learned as far as from my test jumping and everything is that the parachutes are made to open. They're designed to function and work properly. And you can get a little bit nicer, a little bit worse opening depending on how you pack it. But for the most part, it's going to open. They're designed to open. And I like to pack my own parachute because I do tend to give myself the best openings just because nobody loves it like I do. But as far as that goes, if I'm busy or anything, I have no problem just letting somebody else pack for me. I like to pack it for myself when I have the time, but if I'm busy, then I have no reservations. It's no big deal to have pretty much anybody pack for me. We've got good professional packers as well. And the best thing about packing is when you're finished. It doesn't matter how many times you jump, you still end up getting a good adrenaline rush. It's a different rush now for me than it was back when I first started, but still every single time when that plane takes off, you start to feel a bit of a rush. You can look around and just see it in everybody's eyes, you can just tell that a little bit nervous, a little bit excited, and it's really an intense feeling, It's two completely separate worlds. You're in this plane and it's a little bumpy, a little bit small, a little bit confined. Sometimes it's a little dark, and then when you get to altitude, you sit there for 15, 20 minutes in this small space, and then all of a sudden when you step out, it's just this huge environment. And actually the threshold stepping out of the plane is where it usually gets me. If I'm standing on the edge, sometimes I get put right back to my very first jump, and just looking over the edge and like, okay, well, I'm going that way. And right here it's comfortable and I'm going that way, and that's 2 miles down. And that still, sometimes I kind of step outside of myself and like smack me around, what are you doing? But that's where the adrenaline comes from, it's a good rush and good feeling. If I could have it my way, I'd definitely be, 95, 100 years old, still jumping out of planes. But definitely I want to be doing this for my whole life, and just really, if I can keep going, then I'm going to go as long as my body lets me.
That jump you just saw was pretty wild. Now, I'm a licensed skydiver, but I'm nowhere near Jimmy's level. So unfortunately, I can't take credit for that camera work. But the next time I come back down to Florida, Jimmy promised me he's going to give me some pointers. Anyway, when Off the Exit returns, we're getting wet in the whitewater with Dennis Nettleman, and that should be a lot of fun. The sport of whitewater is growing over 100% a year, and it's doing it with very few fatalities. But there's a reason behind this success, and it's because of a core group of individuals that are committed to making this sport as safe as possible. Meet Dennis Nettleman of Cherokee Adventures, and he'll tell you why.
The whitewater rafting business is a business which you need to really train your people. We need to play that what-if game constantly out there. And a lot of people come to me to learn about boating and swift water rescue. It kind of goes together. The popularity certainly is increasing, and these boats, I'm in an old-time boat. It's a fast boat. I use it for safety. Somebody can jump on the back of it. I won't do a pop-up like that, but it's getting to be a more action situation with these smaller, shorter boats as you see out there. And these guys really enjoy it. I mean, it's amazing how you can cross, train yourself to run kayaks, funyaks, and rafting. You really need to know how to do this all to be a good boater out there and have an adventurous feeling towards life. One of the more popular areas on the river to play especially is Jaws. It's only a couple miles down from the put-in, and this is an aerated hydraulic. It's a fairly safe hydraulic at certain water levels, and it's a very large hydraulic, so people really can enjoy playing, surfing, flipping, rolling. And another factor why it's so popular is that, as you notice, there's a pool of water behind there that we can rescue our people and go back there in the eddy and come back upstream and catch that surf again. So it's an ideal place. It's probably one of the most popular places on the Nolichucky to play. They can really learn how to manipulate their weight like they need to. Otherwise, they flip the other way and they're swimming, and we pick them up, and that's the name of the game. A lot of our training is done right here at our outpost on good level ground. We get the concept. Analytically, we can show people what they need to do. Like a lot of rescue squads, they go in a calmer spot, but it's not like that for whitewater rafting guides. We need to be in the worst spot to work with it. Copper Rock is one of the worst spots there on the river. So that's where you want to train. You want to be in the worst of the situation and find out who's going to work out and who's not. You know, I don't know how long I'm going to be chasing the river, but it's a lot of fun, no doubt about it. It's a way of life for me and a way of life for a lot of people that are involved in the whitewater rafting. I got a restaurant to keep me well fed, and my hair's getting gray, but my spirit's young still. So it's a nice way to spend a day, no doubt about it, let alone a lifetime. So I hope to be there for a long time more to come.
Now tell me that show wasn't good. And as long as you guys keep telling us about cool new show ideas, we'll keep checking them out. But remember the criteria. The show's about interesting people, places, and events. And if you keep that in mind, I promise you, I'll have fun bringing them to you. My name's Mitch Skaggs. You're watching Off the Exit. And until next time,